so was that I'm referring to the Occupy movement. So what I'm here to persuade you guys is to follow the Occupy movement and to possibly join it if you guys do feel so inclined. I'm here to ask you 3 questions. I'm here to ask you, where do you stand with this issue? I've presented on this topic several times already. I've tried to inform you as best as I can. If you guys have actually listened or tried to understand it, then hopefully you've finally taken a position on this. I also ask you to look at where this country's evolved to. Where does it come from? Where do you feel that it's going to go? And are we still the role model that we once were known as? People come here to this country because of democracy, because we're known to be a role model of democracy. Now just kind of take a look at these photos. Here's the civil rights movement. This is Occupy. I mean, it's similar. If you look at it, it's still violent. They're both peaceful, they evolve violent. I'm sorry, I probably should warn you guys about the blood. Sorry about that. Here's another one. We're getting closed down by the firefighters so that it's not bloody. But then we move on. These guys getting arrested. These guys are all peaceful. There's nothing that these guys really did. They're just standing there voicing their opinion. What exactly forced the police officers to arrest this man? As far as I'm concerned, he was voicing his opinion, just like anyone else would. Everyone has the right to do that. But where do you stand on this issue? This movement has affected all of us, whether it's directly or indirectly. Mortgage crisis, financial crisis, crash of the banks. 9.1% of Americans are currently unemployed. And at the max, around like 10.1 to 10.5% within the past 10 years. And this is just in this last financial crisis. So I think that max was within the past 3 years. 10.1%. 1 out of 10 people in the United States are unemployed. It may not seem like a lot, but when it comes down to the families, it's really more like a whole family is unemployed, because a lot of families do rely on one source of income. So when that source of income is unemployed, it's like you take a whole family out. It's really degrading. It's not really pretty. My father was actually unemployed for nearly a year, but that's very little saying that some people in his union were unemployed for upwards of 2.5 years. Just trying to imagine your mom or dad out of work for 2.5 years. But this is exactly what the occupiers are trying to change. They're trying to get more corporations to finally back the people. This is where the United States should be leading, is to be a more democratic society that was once known as. So what does this country really evolve to? I mean, we come from the civil rights movement, trying to get everyone on the same level, same freedom, same rights. And we finally went past that. Women's suffrage, we have same voting rights for African Americans, no segregation. So we've gone through some of the most influential movements in history, but when the Occupy movement comes up, it's just as if we had never gone through the civil rights movement. Everyone's trying to fight for their job, and so that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to voice their opinion that they're sick of it. They want some change. They want corporations to not have the control they do over policy in the government. So I mean, just take a look at it. Vietnam conflict. People didn't want the war, but it still went on. Civil rights movement, they fought for their rights, they got it. But now when we fight for our rights now, we still get the same reaction that the civil rights, the African Americans got back in the 60s. I mean, nothing's really changed. So are we still really to be known as that democratic society that we were once known as? I mean, are we losing our symbolic identity? We've never really been known as a weak country. We've always been a very strong country. We fought for our rights to get away from Britain. We expanded westward. I mean, there's no time in the United States history we've been considered weak, except for now. I cannot name a single country that does not look down upon the United States for its actions in the Middle East and for their actions upon this Occupy movement. This Occupy movement is moved worldwide. In Spain, it has upwards of, let's see, the biggest protest is upwards of 1 million people. While with us, it's 100,000. So we have the more negative view on this movement, even though we have fewer people per capita to partake in it. What is this? I mean, the Tea Party didn't have such a negative look on it, but who was the Tea Party? The Tea Party are a bunch of Republicans, rich Republicans, funded by billionaires. I mean, this is just the average Joe. This is like the lower middle class trying to fight for their rights, while the Tea Party, upper class, upper middle class. To kind of look at it, money is kind of controlling everything in our own opinions. And the richest 1% of the population control 43% of the wealth. Just imagine that. I mean, the richest person you can think of right now, I mean, they absolutely have no impact on what some people like Bill Gates or, I don't know, any other billionaire. They have so much control over our finances that it's ridiculous. But who will stop this? It is our responsibility to go out and vote, go out and change, go out and do what we want in policy. So it's up to the youth to change the future of the United States. We kind of just look at it. Just just ask yourself, where am I? What has this country become? And are we really what we used to be? Are we really the strong country? And what can we do to change it? Just try to look at where you can actually change it. So this Occupy movement is meant to change it. This is where you need to come in. This is where you should join in. This is where you should support Occupy. You gotta help them, you gotta join them. Just give it a chance. Thank you.